So I'm on the BJJ Fanatics website, and I see 3 new videos by some guy named Thomas Radzinski. You familiar with that guy at all?
Nope, absolutely not.
No? Well, he's got some good stuff. Three brand new videos. They're getting amazing reviews, which is good to see as well. But you got to tell us about them real quick?
Yeah, I had, you guys already know, but I had opportunity to go to Boston, shoot 3 more instructionals, 1 on butterfly hook, complete guide for butterfly hook, 2 wrap, lapel, and submit them, and 3 we have taking the back. It's particularly designed for guys for over 40 because there's no climbing involved. All the back takes are on the ground. Very, very full and effective system. So dip into it. I'm really hoping that this is going to help your jiu-jitsu and really take it to the next level.
BJJfanatics.com. Just search ROZDZ. We have all had that situation where after class is when we want to ask a question. And Thomas, a lot of those questions you've already answered, right, at Ask a Black Belt.
Yeah, it's another podcast that I'm running. It's on podcast, all podcast platforms, plus on YouTube. You can find it anywhere. Just search for my name. Search for Ask a Black Belt. At this point, over 100 episodes, different questions, jiu-jitsu, life-related, but something that everybody comes across, and often these questions sink in our mind, but we don't ask for whatever reason. So if that benefits you, go there, listen. It actually might help your jiu-jitsu, might help your life as well. And if you have any questions, find me on Instagram and drop me a line. I'll be happy to answer your question and mention your name during the episode.
Welcome to Raw Radio.
And we are live.
Hey, here we go.
Hey.
I'm done yawning now.
You're done yawning now.
No, I'll be yawning in a couple minutes. A couple seconds, probably.
Hey, we've been talking about this for several weeks now, but go to our website, therawradio.com. There's a big blue button right in the homepage. It says cast your vote. Go in there and tell us what episode you like the best. And I do have a feeling that you might be voting for this one right here that we just recorded with GiGi, another Coral belt. And listen, tell us what you like. Tell us why you liked it. And once in a while, there's Gary yawning again. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's been documented. But listen, tell us what your favorite episodes are. We really do want to know what you think about this and why you like them. I mean, there is thousands of people listening at this point. So it's we'll give you a free T-shirt. We'll give you access to Roll TV, and as a small token of appreciation, you chiming in and giving us your thoughts, and a small way of us knowing what you like, and then we can do even more cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's neat. We've gotten a couple good responses, and don't forget to check your emails, because if I email you back and you never get back to me, it's not coming. You're not going to get your stuff. So please check your emails.
Yeah, listen, cast your vote. So first step, huh? Why is first step so difficult for us as humans, huh?
It's scary.
Is it?
It's always the first step is always, watch that.
But if we want to do something, and I'm not even talking about jiu-jitsu, we're gonna start a new hobby. We want to go travel somewhere. We want to move. We want to buy a new house. Whatever it is, we're gonna change a career. We want to do it, but we are so hesitant to make the first step. Why in the world we are hesitant to make the first step if this is the desired path that we want to go towards?
Because we're scared. I think it always comes down to fear of failure, fear of embarrassment. So the first step is, it's you come to your first jiu-jitsu class. There's all those unknowns. Are people going to look down on me? Are people going to, everybody there is going to be better than me. Everybody there is going to think I'm foolish. Everybody there has been doing it longer. Everybody there Am I going to say something stupid? Am I going to look stupid? Am I going to make a mistake? All that stuff. And I think once those thoughts creep in, it's very easy to let them keep developing and developing and developing. And in a very short order, say, you know what? Actually, I can't make that class tonight. I'm sorry. We're going to have to reschedule. And then you never go back.
So then with that being said, do you think that we really want to do that thing?
Yeah, but you might not want it enough. You might not really, really want it enough.
Is that what people say? You want it? How bad do you want it?
I think so. When you're talking about like bigger things, it's how bad did you want it? Did you really want it bad enough? We talk to a lot of champions and a lot of people that have been on the mats for, GiGi for 40 plus years. Do you want it bad enough? So when you do want it bad enough, you got to put in the work, and the work starts with the first step, whether it's picking up the phone to schedule something or walking through the door. People procrastinate for a million different reasons.
Well, tell us how that feels.
So it feels pretty terrible.
You're a natural procrastinator.
I am a natural procrastinator.
So why do you
procrastinate? I think.
Why do you procrastinate? Give me your perspective. Like, is it hard for you to make a first step?
Yeah, for sure. Because it's like for all those reasons I said a little bit ago, and it's like you have to have a difficult conversation with somebody. It's like, where is this going to go? So, but you just got to do it. It's like sometimes it's like ripping off a Band-Aid. You just got to pull it off. Start peeling at it and picking at it, it's going to hurt a lot longer. But if you just rip it off, it's over in a second, and then you can move on.
How do you deal with the first step and procrastination?
Recognizing that I'm doing it.
Oh, really? Yeah,
you don't need to go do that other thing right now. This is what needs to be done. And a lot of times for me, it's like, if I go, I think I'm going to go clear my head while I do these other things, or I go back to the original, more important. But you don't. You start other projects, or you get involved in other things, and then that thing that you were supposed to do is a little further and further away. Mm-hmm. And instead of dealing with the task at hand, so to speak, kind of, you're without even knowing you're doing it, you're putting yourself in a situation where now you're developing excuses in order to not have to do that other thing, because it's hard, because of fear, because of just don't want to, or it's not something you enjoy, but you got to do it anyway. So I think when you start, when you don't make that first step, you start stepping away from it in a different direction. We've had a couple of people on who talk about like, you get nudged just a little bit in this other direction, and it doesn't seem like it's that far, but over the course of time, it's really a huge, different tangent.
Yeah.
And I think that can happen on much smaller levels. I've always wanted to try jujitsu. I'm a little overweight. I'm sore all the time. Maybe I should work on that first. Do I really have the time? You start making all those excuses, and then it's, you know what, I'll call after dinner. And then, I got to put the kids to bed. It's too, I shouldn't call at 9:00. I'll call tomorrow. And then, boy, sure to get busy today. I'll call, the weekend's coming up. I want to start the first of the month.
So that's what's going through your mind.
Well, I think that's what goes through everybody's mind who's having trouble with the first step in anything, right?
So how should we deal with this?
You just got, like I said, tear off the Band-Aid. Just do it. Just do it.
But what if?
What if what?
They think about you.
Right.
What if
the worst? But what's the worst? I think this is something that hopefully comes as you get older, is you stop giving a shit. You don't like, man, I don't have time for people that think I'm foolish. I don't have time. I've got more pressing issues. And if this is something that I feel like I need to get done, and I'm not talking about like work procrastination or taking that first step. I'm talking about, things that change your life a little bit. hopefully as you get older, all those what ifs become smaller and smaller and smaller because you're running out of time. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. Right now, there's somebody that's got a full life ahead of them, and they're not going to be here tomorrow. So you just got to do it.
Yeah.
So don't be scared. Don't be scared. That's what I think the first step is hard to do because you're scared. And then you start developing all these things that help you, like quitting jujitsu. It's all these things. It's excuses. It's not really reasons, right? You have very few reasons to not make the first step. You have a lot of excuses. Those ones I just made up about it's getting late. I got to make dinner. I'll call tomorrow. It's the weekend. I'll start on the 1st of the month, all that stuff that I hear quite often when people make that first step, but then, then the work begins too. So, they get scared. Don't be scared.
All right. Well, don't be scared. Well, I guess that's where it all starts, right?
I mean, it was hard for you to make the first step, right? Well, I don't know if it was hard, but Professor Butler says that he begged you for forever to give jiu-jitsu a try, and you just kept putting it off and putting it off.
It's hard. I think it's hard. I think, it's interesting too, because it's, I don't find myself that person who procrastinates anymore. I definitely had no interest, but also I think the situation is different too, right? Because if you do have interest, there is a point of curiosity, right? And then we are making reasons why not to make that step, like in my case, I think the point curiosity wasn't even necessarily there. It was more of, this is not even on my playing field, like on my radar. Like I had no knowledge or interest, and Eric was smart enough to sucker me into this
persistence,
and again, thanks to him, we do what we do. This podcast wouldn't exist without him. I mean,
it's his fault.
It is his fault that we get to hang out so many hours a week.
Well, when I see him in about 6 hours, I'll be sure to remind him that it's all his fault.
But I think I do find it very interesting that first step is so difficult for many. And I'm not only talking about jiu-jitsu, but oftentimes we want to change our lives. And I find myself, like, I'm not going to pretend that I don't procrastinate, but perhaps that's why I'm so quick to pull the trigger on things, because I don't want to procrastinate. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to analyze things. I want to just start. Like even this podcast. Remember how this nonsense started?
Yeah.
Freaking, I ordered equipment before I told you.
Yeah.
And because I knew that moment I ordered equipment, there's no going back.
Right. Yeah.
And we were doing it. It was happening.
Yeah.
It's like, how are we going to do it? I have no idea, but equipment is here. Like the mics are here. We are recording something.
Yeah. And I think that, it's you can get yourself in trouble if you take that attitude all the time.
I agree.
So you have to be kind of...
Well, I think there's a point of decision. This is how I look at it. The first step is not the step that you take, is the decision that you make. That's your first step. So the moment I say, I am doing this, there's no point of going back. Now, I will analyze. You know me by now. Well, I analyze and dissect things and change things constantly. But once the wheels are in motion, they are in motion. They are not changing. And perhaps that's maybe the definition of a first step. A lot of people have a desire to do it, but they don't show the commitment to execute what they want to do. And, sometimes we find yourself in this conversation, okay, you want to do is when you're going to start. Well, let me think about this. And that right there is that procrastination point. Okay.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
I'm going to start by July
Thursday.
1
Yeah.
or by Thursday. Thursday comes, there's no around it. You committed yourself. You out loud spoke out the date. This is your goal. This is your commitment. Short of something happening, this should be already in motion, which means you should have been planning this. You should have developed a plan for this to be successful on track. Right. And I mean, I think that's not only applicable in jiu-jitsu, but also in in life in general.
Yeah, I mean, we're not talking. I mean, are we talking about the first step of picking up the phone or walking through the door of the academy? But it could be anything. It's the first step in changing a relationship, the first step in your career, the first step in, becoming a better person in any way.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. It's he also talked a lot about good habits, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's like trying to start those good habits can be very, very difficult because you have to take that first step. You have to, and you don't even know a lot of times what that first step is. We talk about SMART goals and things like that. And it's like, okay, I have this desire. We've had a couple of people talk about this. I have this desire to lose 30 pounds. And it's like, well, you're going to fail. They're like, I already know that person's going to fail. Your desire is to eat. It should be to eat better today, to work out today. Do it, and not that big lofty idea or goal.
It goes beyond that. I mean, you want to lose 30 pounds, that's fine, but you need to dissect it by when, and then what is your incremental goals?
Or not even by when. It's just like, how do I put those wheels in motion? Because you'll get there eventually. He was, GiGi was talking about like the community he's built, like what his biggest achievement is. And it's the people he's surrounded himself with and his community and his family outside of jiu-jitsu. You set those things in motion. That's not like I want to have this great community. Well, how does it start? It starts with you. It starts by doing the right thing. It starts by being a better person and better to other people and looking out for other people, not always yourself. And that's this kind of, it's abstract, right?
Those are not SMART goals. We talked about so many times,
but it's achievable, and it's a different type of mindset, I think, to get there. And in that first step, it's easy to go back to those bad habits, to backslide a little bit. So I think, you got to have some sort of structure, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm all over the place.
Well, I think all of this is part of a plan. You need to have a plan. That's really the gist of it and the anchor behind all of this, right?
Sure.
All right. Shall we wrap
up? Is our
up?
plan to end this?
That's it right now.
That's the plan.
First step, press the button.
Thank you for listening to Raw Radio. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to leave us a review and help us make the show even more amazing. For future episodes, check out our website and follow us on all major podcast platforms. Take care.